Greetings, everyone. It is presently the night of Monday, December 13th, the early morning. It's almost 5 in the morning on Tuesday, December 14th, 2010. If you're seeing this video, it means I have a new computer. Why do I need a new computer in order for you to see this video? Because the computer I've been using for the past 5 or so years died on December 8th. Yep, dead as a doornail. Which really sucks, because right now Rosie's actually on a week-long vacation with her grandparents, which means I have the whole place to myself. So my grand plan was to get tons and tons and tons of work done while she's away. And yeah, but that work kind of involves the use of a functioning computer. So what happened, you're probably wondering. Well, on the 8th, I decided to start preparing for the aforementioned week of work. Now, one of the things I had noticed over the course of the week prior was that the CPU fan seemed to be kicking in a lot more regularly than it usually does. And I thought, it's probably full of dust bunnies. Probably time to give it a good, proper, thorough cleaning. And I thought, hey, considering how much I'm going to be putting the computer through the paces in the coming week while Rosie's away, that's something I should really do so that I can have maximum efficiency during that week. So I decided to go the whole 9 yards. So I powered everything down, pulled out all the power cables, and let it all cool off and discharge and everything. And then I took off the CPU fan and heatsink off of the CPU. Took it into the bathroom where I actually have a toothbrush that I use specifically for detail cleaning, that sort of thing. And I blew it all out, and I scrubbed in between the slats with the toothbrush, like the slats of the heatsink, and got it all beautifully clean and good as new, and brushed each individual blade on the fan. So this thing was going to run like a dream. I mean, it was just fantastic. So took it back, put it all back together, powered up the computer, and nothing happened. So it brought up the compact screen, which is just, you know, it's in the BIOS, it's in the hardware. It doesn't even have to do anything to bring up that screen. But then normally it goes past the compact screen after a few seconds and brings up the Windows login screen. Well, it wouldn't go past the compact screen, it just sat there. And I thought, well, okay, no big deal. It's been a little bit tetchy for a while now. It's not unusual for me to have to reboot a couple of times sometimes for it to actually reboot and not just sit there spinning and spinning and spinning. So I thought, okay, it's probably just one of those things because I powered it right down and I'm powering it right back up again. So I try rebooting a few more times. And after a couple more times, it won't even go to the compact screen. It's just bringing up a black screen. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. So I try a few more times. Now it won't even send a signal to the monitors. The monitors are saying cable not connected or no signal, just giving me error messages indicating that it's not getting any signal. So I'm like, okay, this is not good. This should not be happening. I'm like, oh my God, don't do this to me right now, right when I need a functioning computer the most. Like, this is the one chance I've had all year where I can actually sit down for a week and just do non-stop video and audio work uninterrupted. So I thought, okay, let's make sure that nothing's wrong with how I hooked everything back up. So power everything down again. Get out the little mini flashlight to look in all the nooks and crannies and take a look at the heatsink and fan and how I put it back on the CPU. So it turns out I'm a dumbass and I put the heatsink back on backwards. And there was like this little tiny 1/4 of an inch strip of the CPU that was exposed, not making any contact with the heatsink at all. See, I thought, obviously in error, that it didn't really matter. I thought it was just perfectly square and that the CPU was always perfectly in the center. But no, even though it can fit this way or this way, It's supposed to go this way, not this way. You know, hindsight is 20/20. Looking back, I'm thinking, how did I not notice that? You can clearly see that that quarter-inch strip of the CPU was not exposed. How did I miss that? Well, simple. I was a little too anxious to get back up and running again and wasn't paying attention. So yeah, when trying a bit of do-it-yourself, kiddies, always double-check your work. Because it'll save you a lot of heartache, a lot of headache, and a lot of hassle. Not to mention, save you some money. Fortunately, this year being the time of year that it is, I knew already that I was getting a fair whack of Christmas money this year. Of course, my original intent was to take that money and spend it on fun things like DVDs and Blu-rays, but yeah. So I made a few emergency calls to the relatives who I knew were sending me money and said, hey, yeah, any chance I could get that Christmas money a little bit early because my computer just died. And they all know what I do for a living, and they fully understand the importance of my having a fully functional computer at all times. So it was no problem. They sent me some money, basically enough for me to get more or less an entry-level system with today's specs, and yeah. So they say every cloud has a silver lining, and the silver lining of this is that, well, the computer I've been using is so old that even an entry-level system today is far more powerful than it was. So I knew that even with a fairly small amount of money, I could probably get something pretty decent if I shopped around a little bit. So I shopped around, got a feel for what things cost nowadays in the computer parts world. Found a nice bare bones kit on Tiger Direct that seemed to have what I was looking for, plus has a pretty wide open upgrade path for the future, so this is something that could last me a few years. So I used the bare bones kit more or less as a guide, and then I went shopping through their catalog of parts. All the parts that were in the bare bones kit that I wanted, I added to my shopping cart. Other stuff that I felt I could do better or wanted something a little different, like for example I wanted to get a LightScribe DVD burner rather than the regular DVD burner. Some people ask me, why not a Blu-ray burner? Well, because Blu-ray burners are $100. A LightScribe DVD burner is $24, so that's, you know, $76 that I could spend on other parts. Yeah, eventually I'll add a Blu-ray drive to it. That's not like a big priority right now, because I mean I have the PS3 hooked up to the computer monitor anyway, so why would I really be desperate for a Blu-ray drive at this point in time? No, I'm not desperate for that right now. Yeah, and then I went for some slightly cheaper RAM other than what was in the bare bones kit. You know, I mean, RAM is RAM, right? I mean, I can upgrade that later, that's no problem. And I got a pretty speedy entry-level quad-core from AMD. Basically a 2.8 gigahertz quad-core CPU. So, yeah, I'm going from a single core, which I've been rocking for the past 5 years, all the way up to quad-core. Yeah, I know they have 6 cores out now, but it wasn't in the budget. But the good news is, the motherboard I'm getting can support 6 cores. So, you know, 6 months to a year down the road, if I want to upgrade, I have that option. That was a big concern, is I wanted a new system that I could upgrade over a long period of time. So this particular system, I can add extra memory to it, I can add bigger hard drives to it, I can put in a graphics card, I can put in a sound card, and most importantly, I can upgrade the CPU to something with a lot more guts to it. But the important thing at this stage was just getting a functional computer, and I mean, I'm sure even this entry-level quad-core is going to be so much faster than what I've been using. It's going to be like night and day. So definitely looking forward to that, and I will do a video where I put everything together and you can see all the bits and pieces. So in the meantime, let's go to a part 2, shall we? And I'll show you the current state of my old computer and what I'll be moving over to the new computer next time. Until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara.